Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever said something in English and it's perfectly correct, but you just feel like it's missing something? Like the punch isn't there? Well, today we're diving into a really powerful tool that'll make your opinions land with so much more impact and make sure people hear what you really want to say. It's a super common challenge, right? You have this strong opinion in your head, but when you say it out loud, it can sometimes feel a little flat. So the big question is, how do you add that extra emphasis, that oomph, to make people lean in and listen to the most important part of your message? Okay, let me show you exactly what I mean. On the left, you've got a totally fine sentence. The diversity inspired me. No problem there. But now, listen to the one on the right. It was the diversity that inspired me. Whoa, can you hear that? That little shift puts a giant spotlight on the word diversity. And that is exactly the kind of power we're going to master today. So here's our game plan. We'll talk about the challenge of making your voice heard, then I'll introduce you to our special emphasis tool. After that, we're going to listen to a real conversation to hear it in action. I'll give you your own toolkit to start using right away. And finally, we'll talk about why this is such a game changer. All right, let's start with that core problem. How do we make sure our opinions don't just get said, but that they actually get heard and felt by the people listening? So, what's the secret weapon here? Well, it's a grammar structure called a cleft sentence, and trust me, it's the key to unlocking some seriously powerful emphasis in your speaking. The word cleft actually just means split or divided, and that's all these sentences do. We basically take a normal sentence, we split it in two, and we do that to shine a big old spotlight on the single most important piece of information. It's a fantastic way to take control of what your listener focuses on. Okay, enough with the theory. The best way to learn this is to hear it. We're about to play a short conversation. Your job is to listen really closely and try to catch the moments where the speakers use this special structure to emphasize their point. Ready? Let's listen. I have always loved living here, but it was the diversity in this neighborhood that inspired me the most when I first moved. Did you hear that? It was the diversity. They're making it crystal clear that out of all the things they could have mentioned, diversity was the #1 inspiration. Really? I see that. For me, what surprised me was how deeply people respect each other's traditions, even when they are different. See what this person did? What surprised me was the focus here is on the feeling of surprise itself and what caused it. It's a very personal way to emphasize a point. I agree. It is the younger generation that is shaping those new cultural trends now. They are more open-minded. Boom. It is the younger generation. So direct, right? It's not people in general. It's not the older generation. It's specifically the younger generation. No room for confusion there. True. What people often forget is that identity is influenced by many small experiences, not just big traditions. Ooh, this is a great one. What people often forget is. This is a really smart way to gently correct a common way of thinking and introduce a deeper, more nuanced idea. Absolutely. In the end, it is that sense of belonging that makes a community strong. And here's the powerful conclusion. It is that sense of belonging. It's the perfect way to wrap everything up and leave the listener with a strong, memorable final thought. Okay, so you've heard them in a real back and forth. Now let's actually break down the 3 main types that you can start putting in your own conversational toolkit, like today. This table lays it all out for us. First up, you've got the it cleft. This is probably the one you'll hear and use the most. You just use it is or it was to put that spotlight on a noun like a person or a thing. Like, it's the community that shapes us. Simple. Next is the we cleft. This one usually starts with what, and it's awesome for highlighting an entire idea or action. What I appreciate is the openness. And finally, you've got the all cleft. This one is a powerhouse. You use it to focus on one single critical need or desire. All we need is a respectful attitude. It's like saying nothing else even comes close. So why are we spending all this time on these? Why does this really matter? Well, it's not just about sounding more advanced. This is about being a clearer, more persuasive, and more effective communicator, especially when you're talking about things you care about. When you use these structures, you're really in the driver's seat of the conversation. You can correct someone politely but firmly by saying, "No, what I meant was," you can really shine a light on your values. For me, it's honesty that matters most. And you just sound more confident because your arguments are clearer and more focused. So let's do a super quick recap to lock this in. Use it clefs for a specific person, place, or thing. Use why clefs for a bigger idea or action.
And use all clefs when you want to say that one thing is the only thing that's truly important. Got it? Awesome.
And that brings us to you. I want you to think about this for a second. In your own community, what is the one thing that you believe is the most important for making it strong? Try to answer that question for yourself, maybe even say it out loud using one of the tools we learned today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.